Yeah, me the ferrites still haven't arrived, and I'm getting irritated. So you know what? I think I'm just going to go with these ones, the ones that are 30 ohm at 100 megahertz, rated 6 amp. You could argue the 6 amp thing is the most worrying bit. That you stick them on a power connection somewhere to one of the ports or something, that it can handle quite a bit of current. But I think I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to stick these on. They're the right footprint. They're just ferrite beads. You measure them as they are now, they're 0 ohms, so it's not like there's a resistance from the start, the get-go. So you shouldn't get any issues, in attenuation and stuff. It's just about the filtering characteristics, so you can argue maybe these are better to use. So I'm just going to start off by getting all the ones around the video port here, then get the hybrid fitted here. And I reckon at that point, we're going to be good to actually test it. We'll start getting the chips in, we'll get Agnes, get Denise and Gary, check some of the clocks, get the CAs in, check the E-clock and stuff as well. We'll get this in, we'll need that as well, and just bit by bit start to test some stuff out. But obviously we need video really, so yeah, I'll start with the video port. I'm so excited. I'm thinking, what problems are we going to have? I bet it doesn't work, place your bets. I think my main concern, other than that LSI 1024 chip maybe being of questionable origin, but I do have some others if we need to swap it, is the gals. Like, are they really, the ones I got at 25s, are they really 25s? The ones that are marked -15s, are those really -15s? And for the most part it might not make a difference if they are the wrong speed rating, but I suspect there'll be instances where that is actually critical, because there's a variation in the design. The design here, it uses some 15s, it specifies some 25s, and that tells you everything you need to know. Otherwise it would just be like, you can use 15s or 25, it doesn't matter, it doesn't say that. The design does not specify, anything goes. Yeah, we've got a cap missing over there, it'll be alright without it. And that's just for the hybrid, by the way, because we've got one cap on the hybrid. And I was looking back at the original design actually, and the original, I think the 500's got a 470 microfarad cap on there. And what they've done here is just had two 220s instead. But the design here went with tantalums, not electrolytic, not like an aluminium. Yeah, I had to go hunt for that inductor. It's shot off somewhere on the board, I found it. So yeah, it's very tight here. This is the thing. That's why I haven't fitted the hybrid thing here yet, because I figured this is going to be a bit challenging. Certainly the inside connections there to solder those. I think what I need to do is just square this off, because otherwise I'm just going to get them skew-if slightly. Anyway, we'll toothbrush around that in a bit, but that's 3 down. I won't show you the rest, I'll just cut to having finished the ones further up here. So I've got 1 there, and then 4 or so there, I think. Yeah, so I'm super excited to test this, if I'm honest. Who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, if I just reduce the light in there, you get a sort of more natural view. That's what it looks like to the eye. So it looks alright, they're fairly straight. Yeah, 1 or 2 of these melfs here were, not the same band orientation round. I wasn't really fussed about that. Sometimes I'll spend a lot more time sort of perfecting that sort of stuff. On this occasion, I just wasn't bothered. We've got some flux or something there, what's that? Maybe that got touched with the iron, I don't think so. I think it's just a dink from where it was on the board previously, the old A500 Plus board. So I'll get my pin strip there, and then I can get this hybrid on. That hybrid there is the one for the standard video, the one over the right hand side is for the amber. Yeah, so turn pin socket fitted for the hybrid here. They've got 2 hybrids for this, both of them came from 500 Pluses actually. We've got the one that we reclaimed from the board where we started this series here, reclaiming the ports and things from that really corroded 500 Plus board. But then we got the one from my 500 Plus board, the board that came from RRG, because we swapped the hybrid out of that with a modern device just to test it really. And yeah, so one hybrid up, which is great. So we're going to be effectively, you know, if it wasn't for the donation from Brian in Denmark, we wouldn't have an extra hybrid. So yeah, thanks for that. And I penciled in that I was going to use that for this. That's how long I've been waiting on this, you know, to build it. Is he sent me those right at the start of COVID, I think, those hybrids, the modern ones. And yeah, it was around the time I got this board, and I thought, oh, I'll use one of those hybrids for this. That's brilliant. It's come just the right time. So yeah, this board has been waiting for around, I would say, 4 years. 4 years to do this. Crazy. Yeah, you can see the op-amp is not soldered on there. Strictly speaking, I should solder that in place, but anyway, it should be alright. I might just remove the op-amp chip, because it's only got 2 connections. You know what, having a chip that has only got 2 connections on the board is not a good thing. Let's just see if we can get that out. I'll stick that into the sponge. We can stick it back on later. We're not bothered about audio just now. But it's better, like I say, if you know, if you've got anything where something's not soldered on, and there are 2 or 3 things here. We've got amber. I'm not going to for amber because that's not soldered on, and that op amp. Everything else is soldered in place. We are a few resistor arrays missing here, just like literally 3 small 4K7 resistor arrays missing. And obviously we're missing the 1488, 1489 and the 74 series there, but that's just port related stuff at the back. So again, that should be alright. So I think, without further ado, we'll get the power supply connected up and we'll start to get some chips in. I'm going to switch it on. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, wrist strap on, and then we'll just feel the tops of things here. Yeah, nothing getting hot. All feels okay. Measure the 5-volt rail just to be on the safe side. Yeah, 5-volt rail is okay. I already tested the connectivity to everything here, so other than these customs, but there's no reason there should be a problem because the solder points are absolutely perfect, and we're not missing any ferrites around areas where I think supplies won't be getting to ICs. And just to show you, we don't get anything on the TV at the moment. I'll switch it off. Hang on. Switch it on. Yeah, oh, there you go. Oh, hang on. Say we've got RGB there, that's weird, isn't it? It's switched onto the RGB channel, but I don't know whether we have sync. That's the thing. And we can't have sync because we don't have an Agnes, and we don't have a Denise, and we don't have a Gary. So anyway, let's get some of those things on. So I've got a load of chips here. I'm going to try and find where that custom's gone now. Yeah, this is the chip to go here, which I don't know what I've done with. I don't know, let's just get the hybrids. Maybe it's in here. No, it's not. Well, we've got 2 hybrids here. There's one partially new complete one. So let's take one of these. Let's go with the one with the Commodore on it. That one. So the legs on this were previously cleaned up and straightened and stuff. Now, I do have the dilemma here of where's pin 1. Looking at one of my 500 boards, pin 1 is to the left on these hybrids. And on this socket here, I see a 1 under the right. So it's going to go back facing towards us here. And again, I'm just going to power test it. Put the fingers on there. Just make sure it doesn't get hot or anything. No, I think that's okay. So these are the 2 key things that I think we're going to need here just now. Is an Agnes and the lattice. So I'm going to try and find pin 1 on that now. Angled bit is up there. So the lattice is going to go like that. So let's get that in, power it on with that on. Let's move the Agnes out of the way. Switch it on again. Yeah, it's not getting hot. Let's just check that again. That's not getting hot. We now need Agnes, so yeah, pin 1's up here on the Agnes, and it's the one we fixed on the My Mate Vince channel. All the pins, well, many of the pins were broke on that, and we stuck new pins on. So I need to carefully align that, and because it's suffered damage, I need to be very careful with this, and just gradually try and get that into position. Like that, nice tight fit that is. It's got a scratch on it there, that's not a hair, it's a scratch. Anyway, let's just do the same thing, switch it on with that there. Nothing's getting hot. So the next thing we'll do is get these customs in. Everything apart from, in fact I might just get Paula in as well actually. There are other checks I was going to do here, like check, and we might need to do some of that anyway, check the various clocks and things, but anyway. An 8362 is Denise, isn't it? Yes it is, that's a standard Denise, so to check the pins. We tested this previously, so we know that's good. So Denise is up the top here, it goes Denise, Paula, Gary. So we're going to get to Denise there. Plug Denise in. And of course we don't know whether the jumpers are right, everything here. I've got the 4096 Kickstart, so and we haven't got a CPU, so anyway, let's just test that, switch it on again. Yeah, no issues so far. So let's get Gary in. Gary is 5719. I think the next thing I'll do is shove the CPU in actually, if this seems alright. Yeah, that looks to be in okay. So, and pin 1 to the right again, let's just test that. Yep, no issues there. So, let's now get the CPU in. If we're lucky, we might get some colours or something there, so pin 1 markings up there on this. So, let's carefully get that in position. And press it in. There we go. Let's do the same thing again. That is getting warm. Yeah, that is getting warm. But bear in mind, it's been clocked at 50 megahertz. I don't like how warm that's getting so quick. Anyway, I am just going to go for broke here now. I'm going to stick Paula in and the 2 CAAs, and then just see where we're at really. Just making sure the pins are straight on Paula. Again, pin 1 to the right. That's Paula in. Let's just try it again. You know what, that 030 is getting really hot. I know that works though, so I don't know, I'm a little bit concerned about that if I'm honest. We've got 2 CAAs here, let's get these in as well. So that one there, pin 1 is to the right, and the one over there, another CAA, pin 1 is to the right again. Anyway, we do know it works because we tested it previously. So I'm just going to feel the tops of those. Feel the tops of those. Yeah, I don't think this is booting, you know. Now, maybe something is wrong over here. There we go, let's get that out. Put that there. Just on the off chance that, I don't know, it needs a special ROM. Let's get Kickstart. I think this is the one that's on the 500 plus actually. So the Kickstart socket, so the normal mask ROM socket is down here. Again, I'm not sure whether the jumpers are set for that ROM or the other ROM. Let's just switch that on. Not getting hot. I think we're losing video. I actually don't think this is doing anything at the moment. This is going to be troublesome to diagnose, isn't it? That is really hot. That is really hot. That can't be right. Well, I am a moron. It doesn't matter how careful I thought I was being. I was looking at the angled part of the socket going, pin 1's up here. It's not. Pin 1 is somewhere else. I can't see it right now. It's down here. So it's literally 180 degrees round the wrong way. Now, I didn't test it very long like that. As soon as it started getting a little bit warm, I'm like, switch it off. But it may have died from experience. When you get these the wrong way around, they generally will die. But, I mean, I've got 1 or 2 more of these spare, so you know what? This might not be the end of the world. But sometimes when one thing dies, it kills something else. So, you know, we might have a problem with the lattice or the RAM or anything now, just as a result of having that round the wrong way. Let's just see. Right, the pins are all nice and straight on there. Let's try it the right way around. bent pin somewhere? No. The weird thing is that profile socket's got extra pins in it. What's that all about? Hang on a minute, what's that? Has one of the pins come out? Yeah, one of the pins has broke off that. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, that has just died. That might be the problem Live 2 had. He's pointing out that when you try and lift it out, look, pin can break off. Can I fix that CPU? I don't know. Yeah, let me go work out what that pin is. I'm going to have to go and find another CPU now, though, I think. Right, I'll have a tinker with that CPU later. In the meantime, I found another one here that's marked 50 OK, so that's a good sign. Let's try and get pin 1 right this time, so it's down this way. I was wondering why they wouldn't go back in, and it was because that pin was, there we go, still in the socket. Let's try it again. Hope we didn't kill anything by doing that little mistake there. Well, it's not getting hot now, that's a good sign. Switch it off. I think this jumper might be in the wrong position, I don't know. Let's just try changing that over. It's not booting, I've got diagram in there now. After an hour of trauma, I've been like, oh my god, it doesn't work after all this, it doesn't work, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything, the jumpers don't do anything, nothing works. Yeah, like tearing my hair out. We've obviously destroyed 1030, I think. We might be trying to fix that in a minute. I was looking at some photos. It doesn't match the manual, I don't think, unless I've misread. It was like the 27C4096 works in the top slot here. That's not right. I was looking at someone else's photo and he had the jumper to the left here, which I believe is this position. I could be wrong. For this chip, a mask ROM or an EEPROM, and he had a mask ROM here with the jumper there. So I'm like, and what I was trying to look for is these two pads here, these S4 and S8, and it's just like 4 pads. They're not soldered, and I'm like convinced those need to be soldered. So that's what I was looking for, but then I noticed, hang on, it's got a mask ROM here, and it's got the jumper to the left. So trying that, switching it on, you will see, much to my delight, it boots Kickstart. It boots! So this is bad. Now bear in mind, the IDE is missing one of its chips at the moment, so that's kind of a given. But it boots up, it works, and it looks amazing. It looks crystal clear. So, oh wow, I can't honestly believe it. I am so pleased. I really am so pleased. So, I'm going to try and stick that pin back on that CPU, just because that's bugged me actually. It's bugged me that one of the CPUs is borked. And do you know what the irony behind this is? Me and Liv 2 have this weird link where he goes, you know, I have something like, and I'm like, something's just died on my Amiga. He's like, I've never had that before. And he investigates and he goes, oh my god, it's died on mine as well now. Yeah, and then he posted, literally 2 days ago, a picture of one of these with a pin removed and went, have you ever seen this, lads? He says, I was using a PLCC extractor and I went on the corners here and some of these pins stick up a bit. You can see one of them there. And it wrenched it out. And I'm like, no, I've never seen that before. And here we are 2 days later. I've done exactly the same thing. It was wrenching it out with this and getting too near the edge on one of these, the ones that stick up. I'll show you. It's stuck on the pin. You wrench the pin out of the chip. So I don't know whether, if I was lucky, that might be a ground. I doubt it. It's probably going to be something important like a data or address connection. Anyway, so pleased. So pleased. That is just an amazing sight to behold. Right, let's see if that CPU is dead or not. So I've got to try and find the hole. Where's the hole? There it is. And I've got the pin. The question is, can we fudge it back in? I don't know. Is it just the solder that's come away? Or has it lost something on the surface here? You know, I don't know what that is. That looks like fiberglass to me. So, you know what? I think it's probably game over for it. Let's just try and scratch around it a little bit. Let's just see what we see. If we're lucky, there might be some sort of trace or something, I don't know. A grinding pen would be a good idea if you've got one. And of course we don't know where it connected. Did it connect on the outside here? Did it connect in an internal layer somewhere? I mean, you can see, I can see nothing. There's, you know, no clues there at all. Let's just get the huge cotton bud into that gap if I can and just, hang on. Easy said and done, just have a wiggle. Yeah, it's fiberglass that, isn't it? So yeah, I don't hold high hopes of being able to fix this at all. You can see the pin here. Let me just focus on that. Hang on. Yeah, you can see it's like a little pad. I don't know, because it's got a big anchored raised point on it, it makes me think it's a ground, you know. So I might be able to just smush that in there, heat it, and if I'm really lucky, it might join to something on the inside. I'm going to get some solder and flux on the end of the pin, and I'm just going to squish it in. So yeah, I'll sort of show you a little bit of flux there. Yeah, use the cutters to just hold this a minute. Right, so I've got some solder on the iron. Let's just bodge a bit of solder there. Yeah. And then I'm going to try and stick it in here. Let's just use the tweezers for this. Where's Cav tweezers gone? It's amazing, really. I didn't cause more damage. You know, the thing is, sometimes I can get so stressed with something, I'm like a bull in a china shop, and I create more faults to myself, more problems. And then sometimes I can... Let's just try and get the solder off the end of that now, because it's probably not going to go in the way things stand. Yeah, I can either create myself a bull in a china shop scenario, whereby I get a fault or some problem, and then I just over engineer things to the point where I don't know how I'm going to do this. You know, I need to sort of line it with a hole, you know, get some grip on it, and then somehow smush it in as I heat it. You can see, hang on, let's just get the solder off the tip. I'm thinking hot air might be the easiest way to do something like this, if I'm honest. Like that, feels like that wants to go in, but there's some resistance. If I sort of try and press like that, heat its top. Is that gone in? I don't know. Oh my god, it has. No, it's stuck up marginally. It is stuck up marginally. So it hasn't gone all the way back in at all. I need to sort of support it and heat it and press it. Oh, it's really difficult because the other pins are getting in the way. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I want to try and... press it. Let's have a look at that. Right, I've sort of smushed that back into position there. There's some hairs and things in the way here. Let's get rid of that. Oh god, it's so difficult. It's that thing again I talk about where, you know, you've got no 3D perception here. You don't know, depth perception is the point. I haven't got any. Oh, for God's sake. Why is that hair materialised from somewhere? It's not even my colour hair. It's like... So all I need to do now, I think, is just micro adjust it, because you know what? I don't think it's straight. Oh, I can't heat it. Yeah, just leaning it forward slightly. Re-inspect it. Yeah, that's pretty straight. We've just got solder over everything here though now, so now I need to get some flux around here, I think, and just, I don't know, just touch the tops of these. Anything that's got what looks like a touch, so there's one here, I think. Yeah, it's just where the iron has touched the darn thing. I've lost it already, it's that one, isn't it? Oh, go away. And they are solder coated, these. This is the thing. You know, at some point in the past, for whatever reason, they've got coated with solder. But if I just gently touch the tops of these here like that, hang on. Let's see, is that any better? Yeah, so there's just the pin we soldered and the ones either side of it. which now need a bit of a braid session. There we go, that one, and that one. So I don't know, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Do you reckon that'll fix it or not? There's still a little bit of solder on it, and it's not perfectly straight, but I don't know, I'm just going to give it a go. We've got nothing to lose. If anything, we've just learned not to lever them out in the way that Lift 2 warned me about, and then I did it anyway. And it was purely accidental. I wasn't trained to lever it from the corners, and I was just like, hang on a minute, why won't the chip go back in? Oh, hang on, I remember I levered it from the corner slightly. Oh no, why didn't I listen to Lift 2 2 days ago when he warned me that he's had this problem? Irony, that's irony for you. Next time Lift 2 has a problem on Discord, I am not doing anything remotely like he's described. It's not happening. See, if we're really, really lucky, those standoff points, you know, the extra bit there, that one that's levered out, it might just be a ground, and you have 5, 6, 7, 8 more grounds on these, so you never know, it might work, but I don't think so. It's going to be like A13 or something, isn't it? It's going to be an unlucky number address line, is what it's going to be. Anyway, that'll do. So we'll just mop up with a cotton bud, and then we'll give this chip a try. So I think you'll agree that's not looking too bad. It isn't straight. The problem is, you see, as well, thinking about this, is like, if we try bending that now, I reckon that's just going to snap. Yeah, I almost don't want to even try bending this here. I'm just going to squeeze just gently, just to see. Like, can we straighten that? Still crooked. I'm going to give it a try. So it's another one of these, learn from my mistakes, but learn from the two's mistakes as well, ultimately. Pin one at the bottom here. So yeah, these, don't get them in anywhere near the corners on these chips, because, let me get the wrist strap back on. And I didn't have the wrist strap on while I was handling that, so, you know, I could have just introduced some ESD. What's amazing though, in all the time that I've worked with these 030s, I've never had that problem, and then Lift 2 pointed out, and now I'm starting to have the problem, and it's just like making me a bit fearful about removing these. And you can argue it depends how you lift, like, and where you, I don't know. This one's going to damage now, isn't it? I can see it coming. It's a Cyrix extraction tool, this, by the way. I got this with a Cyrix chip like 35 years ago or something. Maybe it's not that many years ago, I don't know, I've lost track of time. It feels like forever ago. When I was in the trade, and I just have used that ever since. Yeah, so that seems alright. So, let's get that in. I think there's very little chance of this working, to be fair. Seems to have gone in. I'm going to switch it on, feeling the top of it. Oh, it's booting. Oh my god, we may have fixed it. But that pin might be something else. Anyway, I'm going to leave that on there for the moment. We do seem to have recovered the situation. I'll let Lift 2 know that. Maybe it was an additional ground. Maybe it's not that important. Anyway, the next thing I think we should do is sort out input I/O. So I'll get the ferrites all down here for the mouse and joystick port, because, well, then we can test a bit further. I'll get diagram in it. And in fact, that reminds me, now we've got, where's it gone now, my Mascrom, the other one, the EEPROM. This one, I don't understand why this wasn't working. Presumably that's going to be the other slot. Let's switch it off and just try that. And I'm assuming you can have both of these slots filled at the same time. It's just the jumper that dictates which one you are going with. And I put the label on upside down deliberately because the pin 1's here. So if I try that now, let's just finger touch this stuff. Should you boot with Kickstart? Yeah, that's done. It's booted with the normal Kickstart, the bad screen, you know, the bad thing. Let's change the jumper over to the right, and I'm hoping that loads this version of Kickstart now. And it has, as you can see there. So that's brilliant, isn't it? I've got the best of both worlds here. I can actually boot using a 27C4096. So this is Kickstart 3.1, you get the different diagnostics. If I change that jumper over, Kickstart 2, you get a totally different message there. There you go. And just to expand on the bull in a china shop, let me just show you what's happened to this bench as a result of me panicking and trying to work out the issue. Look, all the tools on the bench here. We've got components, trays all over the place here. Drawers open, tools and components all over the bench, all part of the panic process. Yeah, so I'm just going to take a few minutes just to tidy up. Right, I'm quite a bit tidy around here now. So what other knee-jerk reactions did I do? You can see I fitted that there, the 163. I'm sure it's just related to the amber stuff, but I fitted the 3 ferrites around here and that. Just thinking maybe it's doing something with a clock and the clock's not getting somewhere further on or something like that. It's actually a counter, I think, a 163, isn't it? So I need to clean up the solder points under that, but I'm then going to just fit the ferrites on the controller ports. And you may or may not have noticed that I fitted an LED, I connected a power LED up. Just because there's a benefit in having that LED on there, you know, it illuminates when it's powered on. And I was lucky to see if there were any flash codes, and there weren't. So a large part of the issue there, well, the entire problem, the first problem was the CPU was round the wrong way. We then broke a CPU pin off, and then started to panic and do crazy things, and the ROM also was, well, I don't think matches the documentation. Maybe I'm just mistaken. I could have sworn I was very meticulous looking at the documentation, which relates to the Rev 0, Rev 1, and well, they seem to be the wrong way round. The mask ROM socket is the one that I thought was the 4096. And of course, it's not going to boot, you know, because if you've got your pin out wrong there, it's not going to boot. All bets are off. If you've got literally no instructions that the 68030 can read when it boots, it's not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen with your power light. You're not going to get any flash codes because it's just reading garbage. Anyway, I'm very, very, very pleased. Even more pleased that that 030 at the moment seems to be working. And then I think the next course of action, once we've got diagram running, is going to be to disable the IDE, because I suspect it's the IDE that's given us the error code, but it might not be. It could be the RAM expansion, I don't know. I suspect, because it's going to be something that's picked up by Zorro, autoconfig, it's going to be the IDE. So we could perhaps somehow disable the IDE, just remove a couple of the gals, might even need to remove all the chips there, because if you've not got the gals controlling the output enables and things for those IDE buffers, well, that might compromise the data bus, you know. So I might need to just remove all of the chips in the IDE section, and then it might work. It really depends how integrated some of the things are on this. Like, from what I understand, it's based on the Phoenix, the Amiga Phoenix project, which was, I think, some sort of CPU card, wasn't it? But it takes some of the other designs that I think George did for, well, things like IDE and RAM and stuff like that, and it's like merged them all together on the same PCB. So if they're still sort of separated that way in a logical blocks, in theory we could just remove the ICs for the IDE, and what I mean is these here, this block here, remove those, maybe just remove the gals, and it may just suddenly get past that error and give us a sticker disk in screen. But I still think it was a good idea not to fit this RAM up until this point. And of course, the other consequence with that is it's not going to be running at 50 megahertz probably, because it's going to need that RAM. That RAM is going to have, you know, weight state wise, it's going to be able to, you know, have the CPU interface with it at 50 megahertz. If you've not got that, well, you're just using chip RAM, which is going to be 7.09. So I don't expect it's going to show if we can boot from IDE. And I was thinking maybe get the Ripple in here. I need to check which way that card goes in there. It might be the opposite of what you think. Yeah, we might be able to boot off the Ripple to give us sysinfo and stuff. Right, ferrites soldered on the ports. I'm just going to just mask off here and have a little scrub. if we now try and boot this with Diagrom, we should be able to use the mouse. And actually, before I do that, I'll just boot with Kickstart. We'll see if we can ignore that error and see if we get the sticker disc in screen. That's looking pretty good. So let's just plug mouse in. I'm not sure which port is the mouse port. I can never remember, and the orientation might be different from what you expect. Switching it on. And just see, can we move the mouse? No, we can't. Let's try the other port. We are missing a pull down or a pull up on one of these, you know, the controller related stuff. So the mouse may not even work. That's a possibility. Oh my god, it does. Let's do continue. See what happens. I'm not used to that red screen like that on Kickstart 2. Hey! It works! That's crystal clear! Absolutely pristinely! I cannot emphasise enough how clear that is. That is just amazing. Absolutely amazing for RGB. Wow. Haha! So, how do we get it to boot? Well, I'm thinking the ripple, actually. I think we get the ripple into one of these slots here. When I say one of these slots here, one of which, this one, there's only one. You can stick Zorro things on the other one here at least. This one, because it's the way round you think it is, in other words, it's the same pin out as a 500, yeah? But it's on the other side on a 500, so an A590 sits here. You can fit an A590 to that, believe it or not, facing backwards. This thing down here though, I'm not sure. I think this is just some sort of RAM expansion, but it would seem strange to me to have a RAM expansion unless maybe it allows fast RAM. I don't know. In any case, I'm just thrilled that it works. A sense check on the Zorro slots here. I'd like to know where ground is. Ground is a good thing to test. All 4 pins down here are ground. That doesn't help. All 4 pins up here are going to be ground, are they? No, they're not. It's just 2 on one side and 4 on the other. And then looking at the ripple here, let's just test these. Those aren't joined. Those 2 are. So let's just turn this way. Those 2 should be. Yeah, and those 2 shouldn't be. Yeah, it's a safe bet. That's how you do it. So like the 2 grounds are here. Yeah, 2 grounds are at the bottom. 2 grounds are at the bottom. So yeah, I think that's a safe bet. It goes that way. Yeah, bear in mind, it's like I say, this has never had anything in it before. It's a virgin slot. And there we go, it's going now. But then hang on, it's showing out here. I'm trying to think, is this the right size slot? Yeah, it is. It's just very tight. Very, very tight. Oh my god. Let's take this out. It just allows me to get a bit more pressure from the top. Wow, that's tight. So let's get this in. In fact, before we do that, I'll just power it that way. So I think we need to take the jumper off here because that bypasses auto config. That now means auto config should go here, I think. When I say mean, I mean means. Let's just switch that on. Pick up my fingers here a sec. Yeah, nothing getting hot. And we got one that's okay now. There you go, that's the ripple. The ripple's okay. So I switch it off, stick this in. I'm not used to the card being this way around. I think this is the first IDE channel. It doesn't really matter, it will boot for me either. And I've got the compact flash card I usually use with a 536 here, so it's set up for an 030 with MMU libs and everything. Switch it on. And I'm just having a look there. Obviously going to need to skip that auto config error because the other thing is bad still. Click continue. You saw it flash there. It takes ages, this version of Kickstart, where the screen stays red for ages. Right, booting again, I think. The screen's still red, by the way. Booting, booting, booting. Still got a red screen. It's funny how it boots with a red screen. As you can see. It's flashing away. Oh my god! Oh, hang on, recoverable alert. Quick left. That's probably a Kickstart version thing, it is. Needs Kickstart. Mind you, I thought we were on Kickstart 3.1, I'm forgetting what we're... Oh, hang on. No, we're on the other Kickstart. Let's just power cycle it, switch the Kickstart jumper over. There is a chance there's a problem with that CPU, remember? And there's also a chance there might be something else wrong with this board somewhere. It's taking ages to boot here now. I'm actually not sure if that's just given up. Yeah, the light just stopped flashing here. So it's like that's crashed maybe. It's interesting, isn't it? It booted before, but we got the recoverable alert. I'll try it a few times. I think that it would be a sensible, rational idea, because I'm getting some flakiness at the moment. It's like, it just seems unstable. To remove the IDE stuff here, maybe. Yeah, it's not giving us an error now. And it's just coming up with that, so that's all positive. But why is it not booting from the compact flash? This is the thing, I can't get it booting from the compact flash now. No, it's not looking at the IDE now. So something has gone wrong here. I don't know what. Is it this dodgy adapter? Because I have had problems with that adapter. Let's try that. That's interesting, I've got a software failure, I can't skip past it. It's a wee bit sulky, but I am missing a couple of pull-ups, remember, as well. Yeah, you can see it's just not looking at the IDE anymore. Now that's interesting, we've got a chip RAM problem because we've only got 1 mega chip, look. This might explain some of the weird things I've got going on with this. I need to boot Diagram, I guess, next. If I'm lucky, it could be a bad solder point. It could be bad RAM. I'm not looking forward to removing that. This is with a different CPU, by the way. I think that the CPU might be alright, but I remember it being rated to 40. I think it might not be stable at 50. So we'll do a speed test, but it's come back 7.09 probably. Yeah, there you go, 1.05. So it's only running at stock speed here. I mean, it's showing it a bit faster there. We're getting 5% boost because we've we've not got the fast RAM. Let's have a look at boards. Yeah, that's the 8 meg of RAM, isn't it? That isn't on here. I wonder if that's causing some conflicts or something somewhere. Let's get Diagram in to see what Diagram says, because at the moment we've only got apparently 1 meg of chip. Right, Diagram running. See what this says. If anything. Or is it just going to do this forever? That's a good sign. Oh, it's saying chip 2 meg there, look. Isn't that weird? Hang on, the mouse not working here. Let me try the mouse on the other port. Nope, the mouse isn't working. Why is the mouse not working with Diagram? Is it that missing pull-up? Because there is one there on the port. I'm thinking that maybe that is causing me some issue. And this is the other thing here, some of these weird anomalies might... No, I can't do anything with that. Let me take the ripple out, just in case the ripple is confusing matters. Yeah, the mouse is not working. That is interesting. Let's try joystick in the other port, because I think joystick might work. Yeah, for whatever reason, joystick ain't working, mouse ain't working. So, I don't know, we've got some strange behaviour going on, haven't we? Yeah, so as per usual, the video is running on in length a little bit. So I made some excellent progress in the video. It's amazing that we've got this up and running, but there are quite a number of different little issues that we're going to come across in the remaining parts. Don't just assume that each one of these videos is just me throwing components on, testing, going it works. You know, there are a number of issues. I'm glad we managed to fix that CPU. Hopefully Liv 2, following seeing this video, might be able to fix his. And I think that the pins, they're fitted into a little hole, aren't they, and then obviously secured with a pad on the top. So actually, if you get enough flux and solder into the hole and then heat the pin as you push it down, yeah, it's very fiddly to do. You can actually stick those pins back in. Well, certainly from the experience I had with this one. So at the point where we've closed the video off here, there's clearly this issue with the mouse. The interesting thing is the mouse works in Workbench, doesn't work in Diagram. Same with the joystick, and I'm like, I don't get that. How can it not work in Diagram, but it works in Workbench? That's a really weird one. A minute or two back, you saw it wasn't booting from the Ripple again. The ID just stopped and then, left for a few hours, cooled down, suddenly started working again. And there are some instabilities, as you'll see in the next part. Anyway, I do hope you found the video interesting. If you'd like to support the channel, please see the Ko-fi and Patreon links down below. Catch you in the next video.